Have you ever heard of an ancient book filled with mysteries and secrets that seems to speak about what's happening in the world today? This book is the Book of Enoch, and within it are 6 prophecies so astonishing that they seem like scenes from a movie. Now, just imagine someone, thousands of years ago, predicting exactly what we are living through now. Incredible, isn't it? But the big question is, what exactly do these prophecies reveal? And more importantly, how could they affect you and your family? Could we be living in dark times, foretold centuries ago, without noticing the signs around us? Thinking about it might be scary, but what if we ignore these warnings and miss the chance to protect ourselves? I know the feeling of insecurity can be uncomfortable, but what if what's about to be revealed helps you prepare for what's coming? After all, no one wants to be caught off guard when something grand and possibly dangerous is about to happen. There's still time to act. In this video, I'm going to show you these 6 shocking prophecies and how they might directly impact your life. What you're about to discover could change everything. Don't miss out, because the truth may be scary, but ignoring it could be even worse. Stay with me until the end, because you won't want to miss this. And since we're talking about such valuable information, how about checking if you're already subscribed to the channel? That way, you won't miss the upcoming videos in this series, which will open your mind and put you ahead of everyone else with knowledge that few possess. And now, let's move on to the first prophecy. Prophecy of the Great Flood. Enoch's Warning. A long time ago, the world was a dark place where wickedness spread like a shadow over the earth. People had turned away from God, living selfish, violent, and corrupt lives. But amidst this darkness, there was one righteous man, someone who walked with God and whose heart was pure. Enoch. Enoch was a different kind of man. He had such a deep connection with God that he received visions of the future, visions that would send chills down anyone's spine. In one of these visions, Enoch saw something terrifying, a massive flood that would destroy everything and everyone, cleansing the earth of all impurity. God had decided that evil could no longer continue. It was necessary to start anew, and for that, the world would need to be purified. Imagine Enoch, frightened yet determined, receiving this revelation. He saw mountains disappear beneath the waters, entire cities being swallowed up, and chaos overtaking the world. But amidst this destruction, Enoch also saw hope. He saw a man, his own great-grandson, Noah, receiving a divine mission to build an ark to save life on earth. Enoch knew this prophecy could not be ignored, so he recorded everything in a book, leaving a warning for future generations. But the people of that time, blinded by their own arrogance, did not heed the warnings. They continued in their wicked ways, unaware of the fate that was approaching. Decades later, Noah, a man of integrity and reverence for God, heard the same voice that had spoken to Enoch. God instructed him to build a gigantic ark, a refuge for himself, his family, and a pair of every species of animal. Noah, even without fully understanding what was to come, trusted in God and began building the ark. Imagine the scene. Noah, day after day, hammering, sawing, building, while his neighbors laughed and mocked. But Noah knew, just as Enoch did, God's word always comes to pass. Then the day arrived. Dark clouds covered the sky, and the first drops of rain began to fall. Soon, the rain turned into a torrential downpour. The waters rose, swallowing everything in their path. People who once laughed were now screaming in panic, desperately seeking safety. But it was too late. Enoch's prophecy was unfolding before their eyes. The ark, however, floated safely on the waters, carrying Noah, his family, and all the animals that God had commanded him to save. 40 days and 40 nights, the flood covered the earth until finally the waters began to recede, and the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat. The earth was cleansed, ready for a new beginning. This is not just a story of destruction, but one of hope and renewal. Enoch, with his prophetic vision, shows us the importance of listening to and obeying God's voice. He reminds us that no matter how dark the world may seem, there is always a light of hope for those who trust in the Lord. And now, I invite you to reflect. Are we paying attention to the signs around us? Are we prepared for what might be coming? Just like Noah, we need to be ready to act when God calls us. And you, are you ready to act when God asks you? With this in mind, I've created an exclusive ebook that will help you discover and understand the secrets behind biblical prophecies. Get yours right now before it's too late, as it's available for a limited time. You can find it right below in the first pinned comment. And now we move on to the second prophecy, the rise and fall of kingdom. Imagine for a moment a grand kingdom where the towers of a luxurious castle touch the skies. This castle is the heart of an empire full of riches, where people live in harmony and the king rules with absolute power. Everything seems perfect, untouchable, as if nothing could shake the stability of this kingdom. But, as in all great stories, time begins to change things. Slowly, small cracks appear in the foundations of the castle. What was once a kingdom of peace and prosperity now begins to face challenges. Unexpected wars, disagreements between its leaders, and even betrayals within the court itself. The trust that upheld the king's power starts to crumble. What once seemed like an invincible empire begins to deteriorate. Enoch, a man known for his deep connection with God, received visions of these events. He saw great empires rise throughout history, each starting with strength and dominance, but eventually falling into disgrace and vanishing. He saw Egypt with its majestic pyramids and powerful pharaohs, and he also saw Rome, the heart of one of the greatest empires the world has ever known. However, in his visions, Enoch saw these empires, which seemed unshakable, being destroyed by the very forces that built them. Pride, injustice, and the belief that their power would last forever. What Enoch teaches us through these visions is that no matter how strong and powerful the kingdoms of this world may seem, all are subject to falling. History repeatedly shows us that power, when not accompanied by humility and justice, comes its own downfall. The kingdoms that rise with arrogance, believing they are eternal, inevitably face their end. Imagine for a moment, as you listen to this story, the great pyramids being covered by the sands of time, or the mighty Colosseum of Rome turning into ruins. These symbols of power and glory are now just memories of a past that failed to learn the lesson of humility. In his wisdom, Enoch warns us that true strength does not lie in wealth or power, but in justice and humility. Because just as the great kingdoms of old, our own lives and everything we build can also vanish. Nothing in this world lasts forever. Enoch's story is a reminder that we must live justly, recognizing that our strength comes from God, and that pride is the enemy always lurking in the shadows. This lesson is a call to all of us, no matter how tall our castles or how vast our personal kingdoms may be. So I ask you now, are you building something that can stand the test of time, or are you raising a castle that may one day crumble? These are reflections we need to consider. Does history always repeat itself, with new kingdoms rising and falling, just as Enoch's visions show us? Well, we're about to move on to the third prophecy. Before we do, I noticed you haven't liked this video yet. That's really important for YouTube to keep showing you our content so we can continue helping you. So go ahead and leave your like right now. Now I'm going to tell you about the third prophecy, coming, the Messiah. Imagine a world engulfed in darkness where despair and uncertainty reign, like a stormy, gloomy day when it feels like nothing is going to go right. Now, picture how wonderful it would be if in the midst of this darkness, someone very special appeared. Someone capable of bringing light, hope, and a new era of peace for everyone. That is exactly what Enoch saw in one of his prophetic visions. Enoch, a man who walked so closely with God that he was taken to heaven without experiencing death, had an amazing revelation about the future of humanity. In one of his visions, he saw the arrival of an extraordinary being, a savior, a Messiah. According to Enoch's vision, this Messiah would come at a time when the world was immersed in difficulty, when people were lost and crying out for redemption. Enoch foretold that the Messiah would bring an era of justice, love, and peace. He would be the light in the midst of darkness, the guide for those who were lost, and the comfort for the afflicted. This Messiah would not come just to bring a message, to transform the world, renewing hearts and minds, and establishing a kingdom of eternal peace. For Christians, Enoch's prophecy was powerfully fulfilled in the person of Jesus Christ. Born during a time when people lived under oppression and uncertainty, Jesus emerged as the embodiment of the hope that Enoch had predicted. He wasn't just a teacher or a prophet, He was the Son of God sent to save the world. Jesus taught about unconditional love, the freedom that comes with forgiveness, and the importance of living in peace with one another. He healed the sick, restored sight to the blind, and above all, offered everyone a new way of life, based on faith, hope, and love. Now think about the impact of this story. In a world that always seems to be on the brink of chaos, where challenges feel overwhelming, Enoch's prophecy about the coming of the Messiah reminds us that there is always hope. And that hope, personified in Jesus, continues to inspire millions of people to this day. The story of the coming of the Messiah teaches us that even in the darkest moments, there is always new hope waiting to emerge. And when that hope manifests, it has the power to transform not just our lives, but the world around us. So I challenge you to answer this. What if the Messiah returned now, today? Would you be ready? Leave a comment below. I'd love to know. And now I'm going to tell you about the fourth prophecy, the final judgment. Imagine a large courtroom, silent and solemn. Everyone is there, waiting for the decisive moment when every action, every choice will be weighed on the scales of justice. In the center of the room, sitting on an imposing chair, is the wisest and most just judge that has ever existed. He knows every detail of the lives of all those present, aware of every action, good or bad, and is ready to deliver the final verdict. Now imagine that Enoch, a man chosen by God, received a vision of this grand and terrifying moment. Enoch, who walked so closely with God that he was taken to heaven without tasting death, saw the future, saw the day when we will all stand before this supreme judge, God. Enoch saw the final judgment, a day when all humanity and even the fallen angels, those who rebelled against God, will be judged. There is no escaping this day. Everything that has been done, whether in secret or in the open, will be revealed. God, with his infinite wisdom and justice, will examine each one of us. For those who have lived righteously, who have followed his ways and done good, there will be a glorious reward. But for those who chose the path of wickedness, who strayed and did wrong, the judgment will be relentless. Enoch saw that this judgment is not only about punishment, but also about restoration. After everything is decided, the world will be transformed. Imagine a place where there is no more pain, sorrow, or injustice. A world of peace, where all wrongs will be made right, where good will finally triumph over evil. This vision from Enoch is a powerful reminder for all of us. It shows us that our actions have consequence. Every choice we make, every word we speak, every gesture we perform, all of it will be accounted for one day. But Enoch also offers us hope. He tells us that in the end, God is preparing a future of peace and justice for those who choose to live righteously. So I ask you, how are you living your life? Are you ready for that day, to stand before the most just judge of all? Enoch's vision challenges us to reflect on our choices, to live with integrity, and to prepare for what is to come. The final judgment is not just an ancient story. It is a reality that we will all face one day. And when that day comes, may we be ready to hear the most desired words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Final judgment isn't just an ancient story. It's something we will all face. And when that day comes, you want to be prepared, right? Want to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant"? Then don't waste time. I have an exclusive ebook to help you get ready, but it won't be available forever. Take advantage now, before it's too late. Don't let this opportunity pass by. It's right below in the first pinned comment. And the next prophecy is final resurrection. Imagine that you are waking up after a long night's sleep. The sun begins to rise, bathing everything around you in a golden light. This moment of awakening, filled with hope and tranquility, helps us understand an extraordinary vision that Enoch, a man who walked side by side with God, had thousands of years ago. It's a vision that not only intrigues us, but also fills our hearts with hope and at the same time, with deep reverence. Enoch was a man of faith, known for his purity and special connection with God. And it was this connection that allowed him to see what is to come. He had a vision about the end of times, but also about a new beginning. Something so grand that it defies our understanding. He saw the final resurrection. In Enoch's vision, he was taken to a future time, a time when all those who lived just and righteous lives would be brought back to life. But this resurrection wasn't merely a simple return to life as we know it, full of challenges and hardships. What Enoch saw was something much greater. He saw these souls reborn into a completely new world, perfect world, where there would be no more pain, sorrow, or wickedness. Now, pause for a moment and imagine a place where peace is absolute, where everyone lives in harmony, without fear, without worries. A place where joy is infinite, where love is the foundation of all things. It is in this world that those who chose to live according to God's principles will be rewarded. Enoch saw the day when God, in his infinite goodness and justice, would reward those who faithfully followed him. He saw the dawn of a new era, where divine light would dispel all darkness, where suffering would no longer exist. But this vision isn't just a distant image of the future. It carries a very powerful message for each of us today. Enoch's prophecy reminds us that our choices have eternal consequences. The path we choose to follow, whether of righteousness or wickedness, will lead us to a destiny beyond this world. And here's the big question we need to ask ourselves. Are we prepared for this resurrection? Are we living righteously, doing good, even when no one is watching? Because God's promise is clear. Those who choose the right path, who live according to his commandments, will be resurrected to eternal life in a perfect place. A place where the light never fades, where night will never return, where there will be no more tears, pain, or suffering. This promise, this vision that Enoch shared, should inspire and guide us, especially in our darkest moments. It reminds us that no matter how dark the night may seem, the dawn always comes, bringing with it the hope of a new beginning. Enoch gives us the certainty that if we remain faithful, one day we will be among those who live forever in joy and peace, in the presence of God. Think of this as a call to reflect on the life we are living. The choices we make today not only shape our present, but also determine our eternal future. Are we planting the seeds of righteousness, goodness, and faith? Are we living in a way that prepares us for this new life that God has promised? Enoch left us this vision not only to fill us with hope, but also to remind us of the importance of our journey here on earth. We are heading toward a future where everything will be revealed, where all our deeds will be weighed, and where the reward will be given according to our faithfulness. So, let this prophecy echo in your heart, motivating you to live righteously, to do good, to stand firm in faith. Because in the end, the final resurrection is not just a return to life as we know it, but the entrance into a perfect existence, where we will be completely filled with the light and love of God. And this is the promise that should guide our steps every day. And now let's move on to the sixth prophecy, the revelation of hidden knowledge. Let's imagine a scene together. You're in your backyard, a place you know so well. But what if I told you that, right beneath your feet, there's something more? A mysterious chest, buried so long ago that no one remembers it anymore. This chest is no ordinary one. It's special, locked with a key no one else has. Inside this chest are secrets and treasures that have never been seen by anyone. Now, imagine the thrill of one day finding that key. You hold it in your hands, feel its weight, and finally, open the chest. What you discover inside changes your life forever. This story may sound like a fantasy. The truth is, there is something very similar and real that is within reach for those who have faith and seek to live a righteous life. In the Book of Enoch, one of the ancient texts that, although not part of the traditional Bible, is included in the traditions and apocryphal scriptures, we find a prophecy that speaks exactly about this treasure chest. Enoch was a man who walked with God. The Bible tells us that he was so righteous and faithful that God took him directly to be with him, without experiencing death like others. Enoch had an impressive vision of the future. He saw that in a time yet to come, those who lived righteously, seeking to do good and following God's ways, would be greatly rewarded. They would receive what Enoch called hidden knowledge. Now you may be wondering, what is this hidden knowledge? Think of it as something far beyond the secrets we as humans are used to keeping. It is deep, divine knowledge that reveals the mysteries of the universe, the most intimate purposes of life, and God's plans for all creation. This knowledge isn't available to just anyone. It is reserved for those God chooses, those he deems worthy. Enoch saw that for these righteous people, God would give the key to open the chest of spiritual treasure. When these people opened the chest, what they found inside would change their lives forever. We're not talking about material wealth or simple information. What is kept in this chest is divine wisdom, understanding the mysteries of the universe and seeing God's vision for life and existence. Imagine what it would be like to see the world with this new perspective. Suddenly, things that once seemed confusing or meaningless now fit into a larger plan that God created and that has been in motion since the beginning of time. With this wisdom, the righteous can see the world in a completely new way. They understand that everything, from the smallest detail to the grandest events, is part of God's purpose. However, this prophecy also brings us a warning. To receive this hidden knowledge, one must live righteously, following God's ways with perseverance and faithfulness. Enoch teaches us that this journey is not easy. Along the way, you may feel discouraged or try to understand why things aren't going as you expected. But he also assures us that there is a reward waiting for those who persevere. One day, these faithful ones will receive divine wisdom, the hidden knowledge that will allow them to see the world with new eyes, deeply understanding the purpose of existence and the mysteries that God has revealed only to his chosen ones. This promise is both exciting and frightening. Exciting because it gives us hope and makes us believe that something grand is waiting for us if we follow the right path. Frightening because it reminds us that this path is not easy, and the choices we make today determine whether we will be among those who receive the key to open the chest or not. Now I want you to reflect on this. Are you ready to seek this key? Are you willing to live righteously, follow God's ways with all your heart, so that one day you may receive this divine wisdom? Enoch's story is an invitation to all of us, an invitation to pause and think about the life we are leading. Are we on the right path? Are we making the right choices? Are we striving to live in righteousness and truth so that we may be considered worthy by God? Think about the responsibility that comes with this promise. The key to hidden knowledge, to the chest of spiritual treasure, is not given to just anyone. It is given to those whom God chooses, those he sees as deserving. And to be considered deserving, we must strive, we must dedicate ourselves, we must seek God with all our hearts. So, are you ready for all of this? Are you ready to seek hidden knowledge, to open the chest and discover the secrets that God has reserved for those who follow him with faithfulness? Leave your answer in the comments, and if the answer is yes, then know that the road may be long, but the reward will be eternal. It's not easy, but Enoch assures us that it's worth it. And know that God is ready to guide you and give you the key that will open the greatest of treasures. We're reaching the end of this video, and I know these 6 prophecies from the Book of Enoch may have left you feeling a mix of fascination and concern. Isn't it incredible to think that something written thousands of years ago can still profoundly impact how we see the world today? Enoch's messages aren't just ancient words in a forgotten book. They are living warnings meant to prepare us for the challenges and dangers that may be approaching. Think about it. If these prophecies really hold power, they aren't something we can just ignore. They are clear warnings, given to guide and protect us. Ignoring these signs could leave us vulnerable to dangers we could avoid if we are prepared. In his wisdom, God gave us these messages to help us make choices that please him and to keep us on the right path, away from the evil that may be lurking. Just imagine what could happen if we close our eyes to these signs, if we ignore the warnings Enoch received directly from God. What's at stake is not just what we see around us, but also what is yet to come. The future may bring immense challenges, and those who aren't paying attention may be caught off guard. This isn't just about ancient stories. We're talking about issues that could deeply affect our lives, our families, and the world we live in. Now I ask you, are you ready to face what might be ahead? Are you willing to act on the knowledge we've just shared? These prophecies serve as a shield, a way to prepare us for what could be an uncertain and in many ways, frightening future. But that shield is only useful if you choose to use it. With that in mind, I've prepared something for you that could make all the difference. The knowledge we're exploring here is more than valuable. It's a real weapon against dangers that many don't even imagine. And to help you protect yourself, I've prepared a complete ebook on biblical prophecy. But pay attention. It's available for a limited time, so get yours right now before it's too late. It's in the first pinned comment below. Don't miss this chance. I encourage you not to stop here. Continuing with me is a way to stay informed, protected, and ready for whatever comes our way. Thank you for watching up to this point, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can keep receiving upcoming content. Because what we're going to learn here could be crucial to understanding the times we're living in and to preparing for what's to come. Think of this as a way to protect yourself and your loved ones. And remember, time to prepare is now. Ignoring these warnings could lead us down a dangerous path where the consequences are real and often irreversible. Let's continue together in this process of discovery, strengthening our faith, and preparing for the future. See you in the next video. May God continue to guide and protect us.